by Brigadier General Andrus' daughter, Miss Macy Silvano, and for the invocation by Colonel Stephen Servans.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I invite you to join me in prayer. Eternal God, source of all wisdom, strength, and hope, we gather today with hearts full of gratitude to celebrate the remarkable career of the Joint Staff Surgeon General, Brigadier General John Andrus. We thank you for his unwavering dedication and selfless service to warfighters around the globe and our nation. True to his faith and in line with 1 Timothy 2, General Andrus faithfully led what Timothy called a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and honesty. Whether caring for patients, leading teams, advising the chairman and senior leaders, or quietly mentoring one-on-one, he is led with integrity, compassion, and a genuine concern for the well-being of those under his command and around him. Lord, we also give thanks for Kayleen, his source of strength throughout his career. Thank you for the love and support she's provided, especially during the countless times he was away from home and when Mr. Murphy showed up in unexpected ways. Thank you for his children, Kayleen, Philip, Janae, Kyle, Kevin, Jacob, and Macy, who themselves sacrificed on behalf of the nation. May your love surround them and provide comfort and guidance to this family in the days ahead. As General Andrus, Kayleen, and the family enter this next chapter of their lives, we pray for your continued blessing upon them. Grant them your peace and joy as General Andrus transitions into retirement. May he enjoy the fruits of his labor and the precious time with loved ones. May his legacy of leadership, character, and service continue to inspire us all with humble respect for all faiths present. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Grady.
Family and friends and senior leaders, shipmates, I have to say that as the squid in the room. Good afternoon. And I really want to thank you all for joining me to honor Brigadier General John Andrus and pay tribute to his phenomenal 37-year career. Doc, thank you for asking me to participate in this. It's a great honor. It's such a meaningful occasion, and I'm delighted that you asked me to participate. Have to extend a warm welcome to John's family that's here with us today, especially John's wife, Kayleen. It's great seeing you again earlier today. His 6 children, son Philip and his wife Bree, daughter Janae and her husband Jared, sons Kyle and Kevin, Jacob and his wife Lauren, and daughter Macy, and her husband David. And of course, remember this number for later, the combined 15 Andrus family grandchildren. And though they cannot be here today, I want to take a moment to recognize John's parents, Richard, who left us in 2014, and Darlene, who's 91. Traveling is a bit hard. I think she may be out there, we hope. Hello, Darlene. But they are a big part of this ceremony as well, Doc. And so welcome to all family and friends, and thank you for being here to celebrate with us. Congratulations, Doc, on your big day. It has been a pleasure to serve alongside of you and to witness firsthand your humble and deeply compassionate leadership. And as I look out here on the audience this morning and see many, many familiar faces, I know that that speaks volumes for the incredible and wide-ranging impact that you have had on your airmen and on the Air Force and on the Joint Force and the entire nation. And truly, it is my privilege to participate in this time-honored tradition where we recognize warfighters and their families for years of selfless service and send them ashore one final time with the blessings of fair winds and following seas. But in your case, it would be, I think I got this right, blue skies and tailwinds. Now, while this ceremony is certainly about celebrating John's incredible years of service, and we'll get to that, in my mind, it's also much, much more than that, because it's about honoring the family service, their sacrifice, and their support. And so to the Andrus family, you have truly served alongside John as he has dedicated his life to taking care of soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines and Guardians and Coast Guardsmen. And we thank you for that. But let's go back a little bit to the spring of 1984 on the beautiful central coast of California, where all of this began. Kayleen was there, John's hometown, I'm told, and you were doing an internship to finish up her master's degree. But I think during that time, she ended up getting a lot more than a degree out of the deal. She met a local boy in March, they began dating in May, and they were married by September. Now, John tells me that it was not love at first sight. I don't know whether you guys can figure that out. But things certainly moved pretty quickly for this young couple. John was in junior college at the time, and so when Kayleen was at the very pinnacle of her education journey, when she thought she was finally done with decades of schooling, marrying John meant going back with him to junior college, and then to college, and then to med school. Though the sacrifices that our spouses made, right? But John got a pretty good deal out of it too. I would say you probably got the best roommate ever. All right. Now, let's go fast forward a little bit to April 1998. There was a Billy Ocean song that was kind of #1 on the charts. I'll let you guys try to figure out what that is. That takes some of us back pretty far. Right? You know, very often our families do not get to choose this military life. We in uniform choose it for them. However, John and Kayleen's story is a little bit different. They had been married for nearly 4 years and had already had 2 beautiful children when they decided together to join the Air Force as a way to pay for medical school. The combination of John's interest in aviation and Kayleen's adventurous spirit, I think, made the Air Force the perfect choice for this young family. And that launched an epic adventure that spans nearly 4 decades, multiple continents, and produced 4 more children. Kayleen, we are so glad that you agreed to marry John and to support him throughout his educational endeavors and his life of military service. We know that you are the bedrock of the Andrus family, weathering countless sleepless nights or long deployments or calls in the middle of the night, and certainly serious sacrifices. And through it all, Kayleen has brought strength and encouragement and compassion and grace while carrying such a heavy load. All of us in uniform, and I'm looking at everyone here who is in uniform, who has served, know what it's like to have that essential support of our home front warriors. So, I know that day in and day out, John relies on you, Kayleen, as his best friend, his best critic, and his best confidant. Congratulations on next month's pending wedding anniversary. I'm told it's the 41st. And thank you for 4 decades of service and support to your airmen, to your Air Force, your Joint Force, and your nation. Now, we talked about this earlier. You have raised 6 wonderful children, a truly remarkable family. Now, this is where you might want to take a shoe off to keep count. All right? Their oldest, Philip, is a business owner and seems to be just about a jack of all trades, I'm told. You've talked to me about this quite often. He and his wife, Bree, have 4 children. Janae, their second, is a creator, a business owner, and client services strategist for digital commerce, and she and her husband, Garrett, also have 4 children. Now, if you're keeping count, we're up to 8, right? And we still have 4 more kids to go. John and Kaylee's son, Kyle, is a construction manager and community leader in Park City, Utah. And Kevin is a wildland firefighter and member of the ski patrol. And he has 3 adorable kids. All right, we're up to 11 now. Their 4th son, Jacob, like his father, is an Air Force physician. Jacob is in his family medicine residency right now at Offutt. And he's here with his wife, Lauren, and their 2 children. That brings us to 13. And finally, the baby, whose wonderful rendition, thank you very much. How about a round of applause for that? Nancy is an associate clinical medical health counselor, and and along with her husband, David, they have 2 children. And that finally brings us to the 15 grandchildren that I think will be the center mass for your life going forward. John and Kayleen, I can tell by looking at your amazing family that you have raised, and learning all about their accomplishments and successes, and the way that they continue to serve their communities and our nation. We talked about that in my office. It's a family of service. You have installed in them those values of service, of sacrifice, and of patriotism. So to the kids, I know that growing up in the Air Force was not always easy. And in spite of those late nights and those deployments and those cross-country moves, you kids have always been upbeat, always been supportive, and always game for the challenge. Your parents are so very proud of you. Your dad talks and brags about you often. I can tell you, because I have heard story after story after story about each and every one of you, and it's a true delight to hear them. He is proud of your courage and your determination and your selflessness and the way that you have, as we talked about earlier, given so much back to the communities in which you live. So thank you for your love and for your support and your sacrifice so that your dad could serve our great nation with distinction. And although you had no choice to embark on this adventure, you served alongside your dad with that enthusiasm and that grit and that grace that makes military children so special. So thanks for continuing to embody your family's legacy of patriotism and of selflessness and of service, each in your own way, and as remarkable as they all are. Now, John, you've done some amazing things in your 37-year career, but you did not get here alone. He and I have talked about this. He knows that he owes it to his peers and mentors. He owes it to Kayleen and the kids. And you certainly owe it to your parents, Richard and Darlene, right? In his younger years, Richard served in the Army Reserves, where he deployed and developed a deep sense of patriotism and learned important leadership lessons. He applied those lessons to his own leadership model that he exercised in service, there's that word again, to his community and to his church. Richard and Darlene raised their kids with integrity and with principles and ethics that I think last to this day. You see a lot of it right here. Perhaps their impact, part of their legacy, if you will, is best captured in the first principle of Doc's own leadership philosophy, which is people matter most. And I know that this is not a mere platitude for you. You live this every day. It's deeply ingrained in Doc through a process that started long before he joined the Air Force. The Air Force and the nation benefited from the incredible work of Richard and Darlene in raising a son that truly cares for people, cares for the center of our universe, the soldiers and the sailors and the airmen, the Marine, the Guardians and the Coast Guardsmen. I often say that family readiness directly contributes to operational readiness, that a stronger family means a stronger force. So to Richard up in heaven, and to Darlene, and to Kayleen, and to all the kids, you indeed are the embodiment of that strong family. And so Christine and I thank you all for your service, and on behalf of the entire Joint Force, thank you for your dedication and the many sacrifices, again, that you've made for the Air Force and the Joint Force and the nation. So how about a round of applause for the Andrus family and all of you. So, after completing medical school at the Uniformed Services University in Bethesda, John and Kayleen and their now 4 children. How'd you do that during med school? That's impressive. Evidently you know how things work, so that's good. They launched on what proved to be a very remarkable career. Now, it would be impossible to recount the immeasurable impact that Doc has had throughout his numerous assignments around the globe and over the ensuing 3 decades. But there are a few that I want to highlight. Now, after completing your residency and a tour as a family physician in Portugal, that's pretty good news, John became a flight surgeon at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. In fact, he was the lead flight surgeon on the mission to evacuate 26 sailors from the USS Cole when it was bombed in Aden, Yemen in 2000. We have a connection there, you and I, on that. Not only was he instrumental in saving lives, this event served as a crucible moment in his career, reinforcing the reality of war and reinforcing that every day we have Americans in harm's way. Always the optimist, though, John took another lesson from this tragedy, and in his words, we are surrounded by teammates capable of heroic action. John, you are absolutely right. Perhaps fitting that we are here today in this place. And like you, I am thankful to work with these heroes every day, and all of us here are thankful to work with those heroes every day. And I would say, John, heroes like you. From there, John went on to continue his education, focusing on aerospace medicine. I think a true love and passion for you. He served as the chief of aerospace medicine and then commander of the 62nd Medical Squadron in Washington. During this command, McChord Air Force Base merged with Fort Lewis, and that resulted in a 75% cut in Air Force medical personnel. Probably a drum-filled emotional moment. And I know that John remembers this as a particularly challenging season. And despite these challenges, he brought, with utmost professionalism and expertise, which we have all seen day in day, John welcomed his new Army teammates and developed an integrated executive staff to oversee all clinical operations and led the team through a campaign of learning. Another kind of foundational aspect of who you are, always learning. And so by the time the inspections came, John had built a truly joint team that surpassed the expectations, certainly of the inspectors, but more importantly of your commanders and superiors. And this has served as a model for other merging teams to replicate. Perhaps this is where John first learned that we are truly together, better together, and that we are at our best, and that the hardest fights are always joint fights. Now, recognizing a pattern of excellence, the Air Force then rewarded him with hospital command at Wilford Hall and Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. And there, John met with his executive team each day to talk about their goals and their ideas for improvement. Back to this culture of learning, this campaign of learning. John demonstrated what I believe is true servant leadership by focusing on ways that he could break down barriers to resolve friction points and frustrations of those he led. And what he and his team informed the Air Force from then on, particularly the Air Force Lean Daily Management Program that eventually scaled to all military treatment facilities as part of the Trusted Care Program. Many leaders today continue to implement the principles that John and his team developed. Just another example of John punching way above his weight class in making an impact across the Air Force and indeed the Joint Force going forward. John then moved his family a couple of more times to serve as the command surgeon at Air Force Space Command and U.S. Transportation Command. And while at Transcom, John managed patient movement during COVID-19, particularly challenging time for all of us. This experience, and listen to this one, this experience, and you've told me this experience taught him the valuable lesson that optimizing systems for steady state capacity is not good enough. He learned the imperative of building surge capacity so that systems can scale in times of crisis, an animating principle to your job when you were the Joint Staff Surgeon. He also developed a deeper appreciation for the value of reliable information. COVID-19, we had to know what was what. And John, your voice, if you don't know this, I'm going to tell you now, emerged as a source of consistent and dependable and factual information for military and decision makers alike. Perhaps, I think, this is what most prepared him for his favorite and last job as the Joint Staff Surgeon, because on a daily basis, John interacts with our nation's highest leaders as he has driven hard to ensure medical readiness for not the last fight, but for the next fight. And your voice still comes through as reliable and consistent and factual and calm amongst the chaos of this AOR. So, as John's impressive resume shows, he is an extremely intelligent and versatile leader. He is just as comfortable in the exam room as he is in the boardroom. Maybe this is because he is always driven to care for people, to nurture high-performance teams, and to serve something greater than himself, an Andrus family theme. John, you embody the very essence of a humble and tenacious leader, unflinching in the face of daunting challenges, undeterred by the weight of responsibility, and unsurpassed in your commitment to faith and to family and to country. After meeting you a couple of years ago when you arrived at the Joint Staff, it didn't take me long to understand why the Air Force saw fit to make you a general officer and for you to serve at the nation's highest levels. I quickly observed all the traits in John that I've already laid out: humility and passion, excellence, intellect, discernment, commitment, and so much more. So John, as you approach retirement, I know that you'll probably want to get out on the water more. You might want to put some miles on that bike, add to that pile of sawdust in the garage, and finally give Kayleen and the kids and the 15 grandkids all the time that they deserve. But more importantly, I know that he will continue to champion the fact that people matter most and develop deep bonds with people lucky enough to work with him, like all of us have been, and certainly, my friend, like I have been. John, I know you come from a very proud heritage of patriotic, faith-driven, and family-oriented men and women. You represent them very well. Like doors before you, you have a passion and drive. You pull up your sleeves and put in the work. You form teams and communities to achieve exceptional results. My friend, you have served admirably. We are a stronger joint force and a stronger nation for having had you stand the watch. John, the impressive skills that you have honed under great operational pressure, the leadership that you have exhibited in the most daunting conditions, and the character that you have demonstrated every day, these are the lasting memories that will remain with us as you close this chapter of your life and your military service. We are so proud of everything that you have accomplished, and you should be too. You are a great leader in the Joint Force, a brilliant mind, and an officer of true character, and a great friend to many of us, me included. So I thank you, and I thank Kayleen for your years of faithful service to a grateful nation, and may your family always be blessed with fair winds and follow the seas. Thank
you. Please rise as Admiral Grady presents Brigadier General Andrus with the Defense Superior Service Medal. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the Secretary of Defense has awarded the Defense Superior Service Medal to Brigadier General John R. Andrus for the superior meritorious service in a position of significant responsibility in the armed forces of the United States. Brigadier General John R. Andrus, United States Air Force, distinguished himself by superior meritorious service in a position of significant responsibility as a Joint Staff Surgeon, Office of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Staff, from June 2023 to August 2025. General Andrus led the reshaping of the military health system, driving efforts to enhance its effectiveness within the current and future United States military framework. He initiated and directed the Health Services Capability Portfolio Management Review, focused on 3 lines of effort, designed to enhance capabilities through joint integrated mission effects. Moreover, he authored the Joint Medical Readiness Management System concept of operations, a structured approach to managing operational medical requirements, transitioning military healthcare towards a capability-driven model. Furthering these efforts, General Andrus oversaw the completion of 2 joint medical estimates and implemented an expanded department methodology for assessing risk across the entire medical enterprise, providing senior leaders with an opportunity to make fully informed resourcing decisions. He led Ivory Serpent, an exercise uniting key stakeholders to eliminate conflict command and control, clarify the Defense Health Agency's operational roles, assess Joint Theater Command command feasibility, and enhance the medical decision support tools for crisis response. As the United States representative to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization Committee of the Chiefs of Military Medical Services, he strengthened interoperability by advancing the Medical Manifesto and Medical Action Plan and hosted the 2025 Spring Plenary Meeting in Washington, D.C. for the first time in over 7 years. The distinctive accomplishment of Brigadier General Andrus culminated a long, distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Air Force, and the Office of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Please remain standing as Admiral Grady retires Brigadier General Andrus. Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Washington, District of Columbia, Order Number ACG-012, dated 26 November 2024. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force, Brigadier General Andrus is retired from active duty, effective 1 October 2025, after more than 37 years of faithful and honorable duty. Please be seated. Brigadier General Andrus, we are pleased to present you with the following certificate from our Commander-in-Chief. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice, in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifice made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. Admiral Grady will now present Brigadier General Andrus to his spouse, Mrs. Kayleen Andrus, with the Department of the Air Force retirement pin to pin on Brigadier General Andrus. Admiral Grady will now present Mrs. Andrus with a certificate of appreciation from the United States Air Force. It reads, "In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Mrs. Andrus for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for your support, which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Given this first day of October 2025, signed David W. Alvin, Chief of Staff of the Air Force." Admiral Grady will now present Brigadier General Andrus' children with the Joint Staff Certificates of Appreciation. They read, "A grateful nation recognizes that Philip, Janae, Kyle, Kevin, Jacob, and Macy, on the occasion of their father's retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States, have earned our country's appreciation for their unfailing support and understanding that helped make possible their father's lasting contribution to the nation. Signed, Lieutenant General D.A. Sims, United States Army, Director, Joint Staff." Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Andrus, United States Air Force, retired.
We've had a lot of orders given to us over the years. Least favorite. Vice Chairman Grady, Mrs. Grady, Honorable Farrar, Honorable Friedrichs. Don't see him, so we'll skip that one. Lieutenant General DeGoes, Lieutenant General Izagari, Lieutenant General Retired Rob, Lieutenant General Retired Edgar, enlisted leaders, honored guests. Thank you for being here. I know all of you have better places you could be right now. You chose to be here. It means a lot. I appreciate you taking time to come here. General DeGoes, thank you General DeVoe, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to you here. Dan and I flew together in the 37th. Many adventures together. Many of them at about 300 feet off the ground. Glad you're here. Good morning. I want to say a special thanks to those that helped organize this event. This doesn't happen with one individual. First of all, I just want to highlight my exec, Major Rob Pilla, who masterfully coordinated many moving parts. Rob, thank you so much for everything you've done. The bulk of the work was done by the Air Force Districts of Washington Protocol team. Thank you so much for your effort, Lieutenant Commander Kim and others. Thank you. And also I want to thank the amazing string quartet in the back. Macy was very glad you were here to give her the note. Well done. And Honor Guard is here as well. So thank you so much for those that helped. Lastly, I want to recognize there are many in the back from the Office of the Joint Staff Surgeon who are escorting, who are doing extra duties today. I want to say thank you to you for all you've done to make this possible. Thank you.
Vice Chairman, thank you again for officiating. We had a chance to talk. It's interesting, those of us that are in the room and those in the audience, they see what's happening right now, but they don't see the conversations we've had. They don't see the time you took to meet with the family. They don't see the time that you took to prepare the comments, read my record. So thank you so much. It means the world. I appreciate it. Maisie, thank you for reminding us why we're here. That was just an unbelievable rendition of the national anthem. Very, very well done. Really a gift, and I appreciate that. Chaplain, where'd you go? There you are. Thank you for being a man of faith. The chaplain and I have met many times. We used to have monthly meetings. We've collaborated on a number of things. I find in any organization it's very helpful when the doc and the chaplain are working together. Seriously. And you've been a great teammate and a great partner. Thank you for, which is part of the reason I really wanted you to do the invocation. You nailed it. Thank you. I appreciate you being prepared to do this, to stay connected with your maker, and to you invoked a very appropriate blessing on these proceedings. Thank you. You know, this graduation that the chairman refers to, this graduation called retirement, seems to be unfolding in one step at a time. And at this point in time, I'm mostly focused on what's being lost. I've talked to people that have retired. They assure me that there's more to it, and that at some point I will begin to appreciate what is being gained. And I'm looking forward and I'm curious to that moment. But for now, I'm just grateful to have been able to serve and thankful for you being here. You know, the Vice Chairman could not have covered our background any better than he did. Kayleen and I indeed made the decision to join together. And we made this decision to request retirement, mainly to be involved in the lives of our children and our grandchildren, as you can imagine. And we are grateful to actually be healthy, as far as we know, sir. To be healthy and to be at a point in our lives where we can actually make this choice. And that is a blessing in and of itself. I would highlight that it's a blessing to make the decision to join together, and it's a blessing to depart together. I am so grateful that I have her to move into the future with. You know, I've always had a companion, or a roommate, if you will, that I trust and I love. I will share with you, I have only had my college roommates, I can count them on one hand. 1, 2, 3. They're all here in the room on the front row. And I appreciate that. When my wife met me, I was living with my parents. She explained to me that my world was too small. And I needed to leave and go out on my own. I said, why? There's free food, there's free laundry. So I said, okay, I'll marry you. I'll still have free food, free Marry you, I'll still have free food, free laundry. It worked really, really well. I was going to highlight each of the children. I still want you to make sure you meet them. I will not have them stand up. I meant to have them stand up, but you all saw them standing here, so there's no need to do that. But I just want them to hear from me, not only from the Vice Chairman, how much I appreciate them. We have had many adventures together. We've had many challenges. I want to share that many of the challenges we've had in our family are not challenges that are tied to military service, but they're the normal challenges that come in the course of life. And having military service on top of that, in some respects, has made that more challenging. In other respects, quite honestly, it's allowed us to move away from areas that we needed to get away from, and that's been a blessing. In fact, I remember being in the Azores, and we had an automobile accident. I was set up on a road where, people, they get in front of you at this time on their brake, and they switch driver, claim the other person's the driver. We were in one of those, and then they sue you. And I was in the Azores, and the lawyer called from USAA and said, "Hey, you're being sued, but don't worry, you're overseas, so they can't call you to court." I said, "Great." So we got to the end of that assignment. I said, "Well, how are we doing?" They go, "Well, it's still an issue." I said, "Great, Germany, here we come." We have to stay overseas one more assignment. In that assignment, the case was settled, and we were able to come back to the United States. So. I do love my children. I'm grateful for each one of them. You've heard how amazing they are, and each of them are truly amazing in their own right. I, however, am unwilling. I remain unwilling to settle who is the favorite. Today, I'll tell you they're all my favorites. And we're thrilled that we have not only 6 children here today, and we talked to the chairman earlier, we haven't been together in probably 8 years with all of us in one place. So that was the other reason we had to retire, so we could get them all together. But we have 6 of our 15 grandchildren here as well, and we're so grateful that they're here and able to participate and make memories with us as well. Some of you have wondered why we might be going to Utah. We've never lived there. I have 4 children that, 4. I have 4 now that live in Utah. One in Omaha, Nebraska, Jacob, who's starting his residency, and then we have, of course, Janae in Northwest Arkansas. So my mom's in California needing more help than we've been able to provide in the past. And so we're grateful that we're able to go and spend some, be in a place where we can get in a car and not rely on airplanes to get to visit our family. Like yours, I will tell you this. Some of you have grandchildren. So like your grandchildren, I want you to know that our grandchildren are the most intelligent, most curious, and most fun children on the planet. I'm sure yours are the same. I would encourage you to meet our family afterwards at the reception. I think you'll have a better understanding of why we desire so much to spend time with them as you spend time with them. A quick note on my parents and my in-laws. As the Vice Chairman mentioned, my mom's the last remaining of the 4. She's unfortunately unable to travel. Hi, Mom. Hope you're listening. I am grateful for all 4 of those individuals who have had a positive influence in my life and in our lives as well. They've been very, very supportive. They have not lived the same military life we've lived. They sometimes wonder why we're not around more often, but they've been incredibly supportive. I am grateful to all of them and the positive influence they continue to have on our family. And it's amazing how even those that have passed continue to influence the family with memories and stories and examples and so on. My mother is the one that really instilled in me a desire to pursue medicine. She wanted to be a physician herself and follow in the footsteps of her revered great-grandmother, Dr. Ellis Shipp, who graduated from medical school in 1878, right up the road in Philadelphia. She practiced in the frontier West, but for my mom, unfortunately, for many reasons, higher education was not possible for her. However, she always took a very significant interest in my education, a big interest in my profession. She provided a lot of encouragement and much motivation. I will never forget coming home from the bookstore, bringing my books home for a new semester. Jacob, that we used to use books, right? And she wanted to see them all. Take them all out of the bag, open them up. Let me see what's inside. Organic chemistry, what is that about? Let me see the pictures. I want to see that. How amazing it's going to be for you to learn all these things this semester, she would say. And please share with me the things you learn. I mean, how do you not get motivated with that kind of input. You want to come home and report all the great things you're doing. It's very similar to the day that I told my wife that I intended to go to medical school. There are no off-ramps from that. You are committed. And there were times when I thought, oh wait, I'm committed. I can't let her see me not do the things that I told her we would do. So that motivation, that external motivation is very, very important. The vice chairman talked about Keeleen and I deciding together to join the military. We were literally 5 days away from Macy being born when we, Janae, yeah, that one. When we went to the attorney's office where she worked so he could administer the oath, because we didn't know anybody else that could do it for us. We knew when we made the decision to attend the Uniformed Services University and join the military that we were doing it primarily, and we were moved to make that decision primarily out of a need to find a way to finance medical school. But I will tell you that at the moment we made the decision, we knew it was an inspired decision, and we knew that the implications of that decision would be much, much bigger than an education. And we were not wrong. We didn't know how long we would stay. We didn't know what our course would be. We thought we'd serve the minimal. We would get out, go do what I had set up as a life dream, which was to be a rural physician in the Central Valley of California with 2 mobile clinics. Then I would fly my airplane down to meet them, and it was a whole thing. And of course, I would come home, and I would walk into my shop, which had 4 bays. I would have the auto shop, the wood shop. And it was, believe me, in high school, I drew the plans for my shop, which I'm still trying to get built, by the way. We had a plan, but plans change, and plans really put you on a path that allow you to accept the forks in the road when they come. Early in my medical career, I discovered flight medicine, and when I discovered that I could apply the art and science of medicine to an operational environment and contribute to the Air Force flying mission, I was hooked. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I guess now I have to get creative. The Vice Chairman talked about the importance of learning. I will tell you, I've always been interested in learning, and it's because I've always sensed that I have so much to learn. And I've observed recently, actually, as I've thought this through, there's really 2 aspects of learning that I've seen that I think are important. One is instruction, and the other is experience. And one by itself isn't quite enough. You can have lots of experiences, not learn from them. But you need instruction. You need the ability to work through what you've experienced. In the audience is Dr. Jonathan Woodson. Dr. Woodson, would you stand for just a brief moment? Dr. Woodson is the president of the Uniformed Services University. That was a very brief moment, thank you. Dr. Woodson represents 11 years of formal education provided to me by the Air Force. I don't know whether a company would do that for an employee. I am grateful for my learning that began at the Uniformed Services University. Thank you. Now for experience. You know, past and current leaders, mentors, like Admiral Grady, teammates, like many that I'll highlight in a moment, and all of you in the room, have helped guided me through challenges and experiences. Some of you have helped me work through them. Others of you have provided them for me, which is much appreciated. And leaders have taught me a few good lessons. It's interesting, in the military, we talk about personal development, we talk about professional development. It hit me the other day as I was walking into the office that they're related. And there is, a professional development is absolutely personal development. And I want to say thanks to those that have contributed to both for me. And it's certainly all of you and many, many more that you represent. I have learned a few key lessons from leaders. I just want to share a couple with you. Number 1, you can be famous or you can be infamous. You choose which it is. You can learn as much from negative leadership as you can from positive leadership. To me, that invokes the spirit of optimism. If you're in a situation where things are challenging, look for what you can learn and learn that lesson and then apply it in the future. If you think you have something to offer, you have an obligation to lead. Oh, I see somebody in the second row that it reminds me of another one. How many patients should you see in a given day? Please listen, all you medical leaders. Colonel Rob, what's the answer?
All of them.
All of them. That is the right answer. How much of the mission should you fly in a given sortie during the boat? All of it, right? They're related. It's the same. And lastly, a lesson I've learned recently from our Director of Joint Staff, keep hitting line drives. And I think that's really the secret to success, is just keep hitting line drives. Don't necessarily need to go for the fence. Line drive after line drive after line drive after line drive drives a score up. At the end of the day, you win. That's a really a lesson worth learning. It is worth noting that I am completing my career from a position on the Joint Staff. A more professional, committed, and collaborative group you will not find anywhere. I will retire at ease, knowing that day after day, there is a Joint Staff supported chairman on watch. Special thank you to my Joint Staff teammates who are here in the audience today. Many of you are here. You represent not only yourselves, but other peer leaders that I've worked with, who have influenced me, who have taught me, who have counseled with me, and who have been willing to collaborate. That has made all the difference, so thank you. In the audience today is, I'm going to have some other people stand. I'm going to embarrass you, that's why I was going to go. So if I could have former Joint Staff surgeons in the audience, please stand. General Friedrichs, Dr. Smith. There are 3 here. Every one of these individuals I've known for many years. They follow their own counsel. I didn't ask them to sit, but they sat. That's fine. And I'm pretty sure that occurred because Dr. Smith and Honorable Friedrichs felt the stare in the direction from the second row to sit. I have learned a lot from these individuals and from many in the room. General Mark Edgar is in the room, former Air Force Surgeon General. When the Vice Chairman was talking about the lean baby management and the process improvement that we did, I saw him agreeing and acknowledging that. General Edgar was the Surgeon General at the time that we implemented that, and it was really his vision that allowed that to scale. Thank you all for what you've taught me. Clint, I'm not going to ask you to rise, but I want to introduce Brigadier General Clint Murray. One of the key things whenever you leave a position is to make sure that you instill confidence in everyone about your successor. And I want you to know that, first of all, Clint, congratulations. Clint and I have spent some time together last week, handing over responsibilities. It is very apparent to me that Clint is the right Joint Staff surgeon at the right time. He will work tirelessly, as have all others before him, to keep the military health system focused on our mission. And the chairman talked about the 2 aspects of that mission. The mission is to support the warfighter and to make sure that we win. And Clint will continue to make sure that that focus is in place. Okay, most of you are standing, but I would like all former and current members, and don't sit down until I tell you to, of the Office of the Joint Staff Surgeon to stand. That includes you 3. So in the back, there are a lot of people who have worked, and these are people who have worked or are currently working in the Office of the Joint Staff Surgeon. Stay standing while I talk this through. These heroes that you see standing represent all those that I have worked with in the past, whether hospital mates, aviator, wingmen, or staff colleagues. Those that you see standing and many that are sitting represent what highly capable, mission-driven, and dedicated medics can do. During a recent crisis, our team was named the Unsung Heroes by the 2-star lead of the crisis management team. They earned this designation because they were collaborative to ensure the entire team was successful, and that individuals from our team were not just focused on their own checklist, but they were making sure that people to the right and people to the left, non-medics, whoever they were successful as well. The issue was getting the mission done, not getting the checklist done. This team represents why I'm hesitant to go. I'm proud to have served with you. You can sit down now. And I'm proud to have served with many like you. Thank you for your past, and Clint for your continuing service, and for all of the Office of Joint Staff Surgeon for your continuing service as well. It means the world to work with a team like this. Speaking of the future, I have another gimmick here. So I would like to have a few special individuals stand and remain standing. I want to do this because I want to put a face on the future. So if I could have Second Lieutenant Alla Hecking, Captain Nathan Andrus, Captain Lance Longshore, Captain Jacob Andrus, and Major Garrett Cox, please stand. So Lieutenant Hecking in the back, she, clearly the best looking of the group. Lieutenant Hecking was a Latter-day Saint missionary who ministered to our family in Colorado Springs. She has remained close to our family over many years. I had the privilege of commissioning her on the 30th of March this year. She recently completed officer training school. She's a brand new Air Force nurse stationed at Langley. She'll continue to be a force for good. All congratulations. Captain Nathan Andrus appears to be the tall one. He is my nephew. And I remember when he was a young boy, him taking a very significant interest in my leather flight jacket. And he was kind enough to allow me to commission him out of the BYU ROTC program a few years ago, probably longer than I remember ago. And today he's an Assistant Director of Operations and ADO at the 482nd Attack Squadron, instructing MQ-9 Reaper pilots. Nathan, thank you for your service. Captain Lance Longshore, I haven't seen you in a while, Lance. Captain Lance Longshore was one of my Boy Scouts when I was a Scoutmaster in Washington State. His dad and I were good friends. I think he's online. If so, Gary, hello. Thanks for being here. Lance is a special young man. We, along with other scouts, including my sons, we shared quite a few adventures together hiking through the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State. Don't know if we cited a Bigfoot, but maybe he cited us, I'm not sure. But the stories are still out there. I commissioned him with his incredible family present at BYU as well, out of the ROTC program. And Lance is now a pilot with the 71st Rescue Squadron, flying HC-130 Combat King II aircraft out of Moody Air Force Base, Georgia. Lance, I'm proud of you. Captain Jacob Andrus, you've already met. He's my son. He's my youngest son, not my youngest child. I want to keep that clear. He's my youngest son. It was a privilege to commission him at the same ceremony that I commissioned Lance at BYU a few years ago. And then I recently was able to recommission him as he graduated from medical school, which was a real privilege and a pleasure for me. He has served as an Air Force personnelist and is now an Air Force physician, as you know, at Offutt Air Force Base, and beginning his family medicine and flight medicine residency training. He has made it very clear to me, Dad, I'm not following in your footsteps. I'm carving my own path. Jacob, you go. I'm right with you. Look forward to your success. And Major Garrett Cox. Doesn't he look great in uniform? Now I want to highlight, this is important, Major Cox is in an Army uniform. So our family is, thank you, Garrett, for joining the family. You have made our family a joint family. It's been Garrett's an intelligence officer in the Utah National Guard. As I said, he is a very good man. He's also my son-in-law. We're proud of him. We're grateful he's part of our family. Great, Garrett, thank you for your service, not only to our nation, but to our family as well. We love you. So I introduce these special individuals to remind us all that we are in good hands. As I step away, I'm reassured that there are at least 5 energetic and highly capable officers to manage the future, and we truly are in good hands. Speaking of good hands, by the way, if anybody asks me, my favorite part of her body is her hands. Caitlin has amazing hands. Truly, one of the things that attracted me. She just does. She just does. Just take a look when you do it. Vice Chairman, thank you for highlighting her service. I would like to do the same. Many here know and love Kayleen, and I'm confident that at least half of you are here because she's here, not because I'm here. And I know that there are those in the audience here that came specifically to support Kayleen, and I thank you for that. She's worth supporting, believe me. Kayleen is an outstanding individual. She is one of the best people I've met. She is aware of others. She serves tirelessly, as has been mentioned. Her influence extends well beyond her family. She serves in our church, including in significant leadership roles, and we continue to cross paths with women who she impacted in their youth as she led them. She is aware of and constantly reaching out to neighbors. I can't tell you how many times we will be in the evening, dinner's done, my brain is fried, we're sitting down finally to have a quiet minute, and she says, I need to go see someone. She gets a thought, and poof, out the door she goes. And she's right. They needed to be visited, or they needed attention, or I need to text someone constantly. She has deployed to disaster areas with Red Cross. She responds locally now to house fires to help those that are affected. She's constantly looking for opportunities to serve. And I'm looking for new opportunities to serve with her. We aspire, and I mean this in all seriousness, I want to drive the lunch truck for the Red Cross in disaster areas. That would be the coolest, wouldn't that be? Handing out food and water to people that are helping, that would be the main. And to do that with her next to me, they'd be great sandwiches, let me tell you. She, as many of you know, she's very active. She's most likely to be found in the base gym. In fact, I will tell you, when we lived on Patch and our two boys were wrestling, Philip, I recognize you wrestled, but it was a different location. And she broke her foot. It's called a Lisfranc fracture, broke every bone across her foot. Was in a wheelchair for quite a few weeks. But I'll tell you, this woman wheeled her wheelchair to the gym so she could do upper body workouts. She is dedicated. When we moved here, she loves to play pickleball. She loves to play racquetball. She loves to ride. We love to cycle together. When we moved here, she was very disappointed because she couldn't find people to play pickleball with. So she's a problem solver. She reached out to other women in the neighborhood. She invited them to come learn how to play racquetball. And now, 3 days a week, there are up to 8 women over at the gym, JBAP, playing racquetball. Pickleball, that's the one. The one named after the dog. Now, that is much to the chagrin of the basketball players who think they can just show up without scheduling the gym, but these ladies have explained to them the process. When they need the gym, they have the gym. In fact, I understand that recently they just put a photograph of them while they were playing to put on the wall to memorialize their activity there, which is quite exciting. I'll share with you, she has pickleball friends in the crowd. Thank you so much for that. For Mrs. Grinovich, I just want to reassure you that your husband and I have wonderful conversations about pickleball during the day, getting the news from you and from Kayleen about the latest on the court. Who's got the bruise, who gave who the bruise, all those sorts of things. As you can see, Kayleen is an amazing and a fun person. She's always available to her family. Her grandchildren can't get enough of her. And she's even been a part of the Office of the Joint Staff Surgeon. Her presence and her cookies have been appreciated by many over the years. And my folks in the back, they know all about the cookies. They will be served tonight at our home. They will not be served here. That's encouragement to come to the house. Kenny, I'd like you to join me on the stand, if you would. She wasn't expecting this. Before I close, I would like you to see us together. And acknowledge the blessing of serving together. As I mentioned, we entered the military together. I'm grateful that we're graduating together. You have no idea how grateful I am we are graduating together. The ribbons on my chest, the accomplishments that have been mentioned, the opportunity to serve and lead, they are all hers as much as they are mine. She's been a part of everything you've heard about today. I'm grateful we'll move forward together. Kenny, I love you. Thank you for loving me. You're the family. For her. They're multicolored. The reason they have so many colors in them is those different colors represent different challenges, different experiences, joint challenges and experiences, if you will. I will highlight that as Vice Chair mentioned, over 41 years of marriage. I want to share with you that we turned our joint experience, when our children started coming, I realized we were now entering we were now moving from a joint to a coalition experience. But this coalition continues to serve and continues to get after the mission every day. So, my Heavenly Father, before I do, I just want to mention one thing. You know, I have taken 3 formal oaths in my life. And I've taken an oath to the Constitution, of which I'm very proud. I've taken an oath to make a covenant with my wife, to support her, and be true to her. And I've made covenants with my Heavenly Father to follow Him, to do my best to seek His guidance. And I am so grateful that my time in the Air Force has never put me in a position to have to violate any one of those 3. They are completely mutually integrating, and that has been a real source of strength, and probably the primary source of strength for me through these last 37 years. I want to acknowledge my Heavenly Father for guiding me, for watching over our family, and for protecting and guiding my teammates over the years. May God bless you all. May you continue to watch over this nation. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Please be seated. We would now like to invite Brigadier General Andrus's children and grandchildren to sing a special musical selection in honor of their father and grandfather's 37 years of service and contributions to the United States Air Force.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with Brigadier General Andrus and wish him and Mrs. Andrus every success in their future endeavors. Brigadier General and Mrs. Andrus invite you to attend the reception immediately following the ceremony.